Now we're gonna try something new, which is applying our Brian test to a larger vehicle just by a little bit. Does Brian fit in the back of this truck? Brian test approved. (1996) Ford F350 Super Duty with the legendary 7.3 liter turbo diesel. This thing's a workhorse, and because it is so long with an 8 or 10 foot bed, I haven't measured it, I need to actually wait to get to a pump that I can also pull out of. So we're just waiting for that. This turbo diesel V8 has 2 fuel tanks on it, whereas with most vehicles, normally you're gonna see 1. Good enough for us as well. One fuel tank of this is probably bigger than your Toyota Corolla's fuel tank. You want to know something here? This diesel is so old, it does not have an EVAP purge system like most vehicles these days, which you can see right here. This is literally just a nozzle straight into the fuel tank. There's nothing here to keep the fumes trapped. That's all I have to say about that. .3 liter Power Stroke diesel V8. Fuel filter right here in the top where you normally think that this is just a cover. No, it's a cover for your fuel filter. Right behind that, unlike most vehicles these days that have turbos, which are tucked way down underneath, turbo is actually right here, putting out some heat, strapped to the exhaust, and this thing is bigger than most turbos you'd see on cars these days. It is pretty much stock. When it first came out, it had 210 horses, 425 foot-pounds of torque, and since it's probably 20-something years old, it's naturally probably lost some of that. However, with a few upgrades, a little reusable air filter, headers, exhaust, this thing's probably putting out probably around 300 to 480. If there's one thing I really love about old trucks, column shifter right here. It just feels like so much power when you grab it and it's in park. Just thunk down in the freaking drive, man.
There's actually a very nice bar right in that bottle.
What's it called? I'm interested in bars. So what I love about this truck so much is how high it is. You can absolutely see everything. Even if you're behind a big fat SUV, you can see over it, you can see past it, you can see everything. Which, you know, that's safety in and of itself. As long as you're alert. I mean, you can see stuff.
So, David, tell me, what kind of person was this vehicle trying to attract?
I would say, in its stock form, people who have their own business and need to tow a lot of equipment or materials. Sabre's like right over here?
I don't know, David. This isn't my town.
Staunton, this ain't my fucking business.
That's why.
Sorry, that's what it sounded like to me.
It was.
Okay, cool. I'm glad we're always on the same page when it comes to Pulp Fiction references.
Oh, I think
this is fries, David.
Yeah, I know. I think I actually we went right past freaking Sabres.
Is this where we get like our booty holes destroyed?
Yeah, probably.
I don't see a Taco Bell.
Fair.
Now what you heard just there was the turbo bolted directly to the exhaust without a muffler behind it. Now because it is 96, there still is a catalytic converter. However, without that extra obstruction in the exhaust, you're hearing the full feedback of the turbo spooling up.
I saw in the back of a truck where it said, real trucks don't have spark plugs.
I'm missing an inside joke.
Okay, so diesel trucks, this does not have spark plugs.
Imagine that.
Ah.
Because it's diesel. So diesel, you can't ignite it, so you have to use pressure. So what happens inside the cylinder is that piston's just pushing that fuel and air together in the chamber.
Oh, it pops?
Yes.
That's dangerous.
It burns cleaner.
Where is Savers at? Oh my god.
I like how David won't go ahead and chime in on this lovely discussion
No, now I'm
about
now,
diesel motors.
Yeah, now I don't know where Savers is though, guys.
David's all like, crap, I don't know that much about diesels.
Savers! Where the fuck is it?
For older four-wheel drive trucks, you'll normally have a locking differential on the very front. Now, unlike trucks these days, which have electronic and automatic locking diffs, this one is manual, where you just lock in the hub, like so. Hub's locked. You do it for the other wheel, and you throw it in four-wheel drive, you now have a locked front end, which is a lot better for off-roading. One downside of having a truck is everyone's going to want you to help them move because you have a big old truck, especially something of this size. Since I've had this truck in my ownership, I have, after a yellow light, I have had to help at least 6 people move. And this thing can fit quite a bit. It can fit an entire small 1-bedroom in the back of it.
Fit an entire couch and love seat attachment.
Very much so.
Oh, hi, I'm in this review. So, given this truck, it is huge, it is bulky. I feel like it's meant for somebody who's actually doing work, but I also feel like high school kids are gonna be the only ones buying this. Gas, having to worry about 2 separate fuel tanks. It's already a gas guzzler, kind of seems like.
Fuel guzzler. Not gas.
Hey guys, do you know how you can tell if somebody's driving a diesel or not? Don't worry, they'll tell you.
Yeah. This is the definition of a bro-dozer. That's one thing I want to point out there.
Bro-dozer.
Because I'm wearing a snapback cap. I do not look out of place in this giant lifted long red truck with huge tires.
But Brian and I look like we have civilized jobs.
Yeah, you gentlemen look like you have your crap together.
But overall, I mean, it's an okay truck. I would never purchase this one at all. I don't think I would ever actually recommend it. Mind you, I do love Ford trucks though. Ford trucks, out of all trucks, I absolutely will, till I'm blue in the face, will say probably the best truck on the market. That guy is blowing so much smoke.
You gotta get right with his Jesus.
But as this one's an F350, we do also have 2 other vehicles that will be later being reviewed by David for a Sunnyside. Fucking shaky ass.
Well, so this car's bumpy as shit.
It is.
It's a truck!
I'm sorry.
This vehicle.
This diesel
This
motorized
mid-size vehicle. This fucking
This huge behemoth.
wow.
Deuce.
No.
Deuce and a half.
Obese fucking vehicle. I don't know why it took me so long to figure out how to say obese.
Fat but fancy.
I wouldn't say it's obese though.
It has childbirth giving thighs.
Yeah. That's what we call thick. That's not obese.
I don't know. Thick to me looks really good, and this does not.
Mind you, the height and then the fact that it looks older than it actually is the other part. I don't like the car mirrors on it. These are mirrors probably off a Taurus or an Escort.
Are these mirrors off of a Taurus or an Escort?
No, these are stock mirrors. Because back then, people didn't need tow mirrors to figure out how to navigate this damn thing. They just knew it. They got it. It was a skill. We don't need any high-tech, highfalutin driver assist to get a trailer moved around. We just used our eyes. God's natural assistant device.
Does this car also make you southern as well?
And religious.
Yeah, damn.
This truck brings up the hill jack in oneself when you're driving it.
Who? What?
The hill jack.
What does that mean?
Hillbilly.
Why don't you just say that?
But no one knows what a hill is. That a Michigan thing?
I don't know. I think that's what hillbillies call other hillbillies.
I thought
Like, why'd you say it?
I thought they called him brother.
Oh, because I'm a fucking hillbilly. You've seen the beer I drink.
But yeah, overall, it's an okay truck. I wouldn't recommend it for a first-time buyer whatsoever. I wouldn't even recommend it as a daily. It's So overall, Brian, then, what do you think of the truck?
I think it's very cumbersome, and it sounds like a pain to maneuver anywhere.
Absolutely.
And me being a not so fancy car guy, I would not recommend it.
I wouldn't recommend this truck to anyone, to be honest.
Oh, I definitely recommend it as a second vehicle.
Really?
As a second vehicle.
Why? Why?
Because this is not by any means something you can drive every day. And my dad did it for almost a good 10 years, maybe more, driving this thing daily, every day.
From where to where, though?
From their place in Peoria all the way to North Scottsdale.
So that's 40 miles?
Yep. You can imagine the fuel costs he incurred on that too, but that was before fuel started getting really bad. This is a good truck as a second vehicle. Absolutely not for your first. It's not practical in any way. The person who's living in the city, period, you're not going to need something this big at all. You're only probably going to need
A mid-size, get yourself a Colorado or something like.
You're not going to have any situations that often that require something this big unless you're moving. And if you're moving every year, then you have other problems that this truck is going to just add on to.
I feel like you're trying to drive a point home, David.
I'm trying to drive a point home.
Fuck you then.
Wait, what was the point? What was...
I move every year.
You moved over here?
Yes.
Oh.
Brian is attacked.
I've had a new home every goddamn year for the last 4 years.
Oh, I'm
Have
sorry.
you really?
Yes.
And you haven't asked us to help you in any of this?
I asked David once. So
he
I'm
didn't
one of
help?
those 6.
No, I helped. I was like the only one there helping.
Yeah, he was the only one that did.
I don't recall you ever asking.
Thanks for tuning in and watching our review of this Ford F350. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe and ring the bell, and we will catch you on the next one.
$425.
Okay.
Okay, so that was about what you said.
And that was stock.
That's stock.
No, I overshot. I said like about 450.
That horsepower is fucking comedic, though.
That's 90s horsepower for you, dude. Look at a Dodge anything from the 90s. Oh, that's right. Dodge didn't make anything fun in the 90s. I forgot. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, the Dodge Stealth?
Thank you, Angel.
Stealth.
Thank you, David.
How about the Dodge Avenger Twin Turbo?
Okay.
They did not make that in the 90s.
Want to bet?
No.
It was a coupe.
Because no one knows that much about Dodge.
It sounds like Angel does.
Yeah, Angel's not
So
most,
I think you both need
Angel's
to make a
not
bet
most-
right now
Angel is
on
not
camera.
most people.
So he's
Not
saying
wrong.
you're not people.
What you mean by not people?
I mean, you're not people.